So Jason Williams, former NBA player, he went golf with Michael Jordan, and Michael Jordan said that LeBron James could play in any era. He said in different eras he think he could play. That didn't say that he said he thought he was the GOAT, and didn't say that he thought that he was, you know, style wise. The reason why you can get away with saying that is simple because LeBron James did start off in the 20 years ago. And it was a different NBA. They still had low post, big man presence. You still had Shaquille O'Neal. You still had a Tim Duncan. And you had the Dirk Nowinski's of the world, the Kevin Garnett's of the world, Rasheed Wallace of the world, the Ben Wallace of the world, the Tracy McGrady's, Vince Carter's, Kobe Bryant's, Tony Parker Ginobili's, Jason Kidd's. You had different guys that played different roles to before you get to Steph Curry's of the world and Durant's and James Harden. So in his defense, he's had a good sample size of quite a long time. And I don't think no one will sit there and say that LeBron couldn't play in different eras. Would he dominate? That's another story. Would they allow the bunny hopping? Would they allow the obvious traveling? Would they allow the obvious flopping? See, the problem that I run into is this. Yeah, he's got the size and the girth, and he could definitely be playing in eras. But would he be able to, you know, score at will and do it will? That's the thing. You know, I mean, I can name guys who, yeah, if you're a great player, you should be able to play in any era. How successful you are is another story. So that don't really say anything. And it's not like some endorsement that, well, Michael Jordan, because Jordan said that he could play in any era. He didn't say that he would dominate. He didn't sit there and say, oh, yeah, he'd have been better than Wilt Chamberlain, Bill Russell, Jerry West, Oscar Robertson in the 60s, or that he would have gotten over Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Dr. J in the 70s, or Magic and Bird in the 80s, or in those guys, because it was a different era. People who are only listening for context are going to be all happy and happy clappy, and their pinky toes is going to get swollen because they're like, ooh, Jordan said, ooh, he didn't say you're going to dominate. So get your pinky toe back in check. He not say you're going to dominate. He said he could play in any era. I do believe he could have played in any era. How good he would have been, now that's another story. We will never know. Because he would have had to been more of a low post player in the 70s. And see, he ought to give Steph Curry $1 every time he shoots a three that he makes one. Because that saved his behind. I don't think he breaks the scoring record and passes Carmelo or Kareem without that three ball. That gave him an extra 5 years to his career. He had to be a low post banger. I don't think he would have made it. I'm just going to keep it 100. I'm going to keep it 100 about that. But, excuse me. But he had that to his repertoire. And he did quite, he done well for what he's done. Before people go run off and saying that, yeah, again, saying that a guy can play in any era does not mean that you would have dominated or been great. It means you could have played. It's kind of like singers that are stylists. I could say I could put you in any era because you're a stylist. Does that mean that you would have hit? Not necessarily. You'd have been in there. Yeah. Someone takes the time and initiative to put you in there. But see, the problem I have with stuff like this is that they downplay Bill Russell, who's still the standard. And I ain't got no problem with Jordan coming out giving LeBron saying that he could have played in the era. It's just that in reverse, LeBron is always trying to act like he's all the eras. I told you, it's like that old Billy Chris style impersonation of Prince where I am the world, I am the children. And that's the problem with the LeBroniacs. They think they are the world, they are the children. And they get into this thing. Yeah. But I would have loved to see LeBron James in the 80s having to buck up against Buck Williams or Maurice Lucas in the 70s. Or have to do some of that mess against Daryl Dawkins. Try that against Tree Rollins. I would have loved to see that. Or even the mighty Bill Laimbeer, who just is the biggest LeBron James fan there is. Yeah. I would have loved to have seen that. The way the Pistons bad boys did the takedown. Because LeBron will cry over anything. And he'd have been crying like spilled milk, like a cat's bowl that poured over. We had to deal with that. So yeah, size wise, strength wise. Because if I look at someone like Karl Malone, I could say something about Karl Malone. But do you dominate? And with the way the rules have changed and the way they've made scoring and everything like that, do you dominate? That's the question needs to be asked. And how great would you have been? And who would have been your teammates? Who would have been your coach? You see, there's a lot of those. Playing a different era, but under which way? Who's your coach? Who's the team? Because you could have been somewhere averaging like 28.9 points a game and don't get out the first round. Don't even make the playoffs. It was tough back then, yo. It was tough, And you know how he didn't conveniently been able to swap up and get teams? Well, unless he went to the ABA and came to the NBA, I don't know how that would have worked. And I don't know who would have allowed him that latitude. Just saying. So, anyway, let me know what you think. Yes, Michael Jordan said LeBron could have played in a different era, could play in any era. But he never said how great he would have been. Please hit like, subscribe, welcome thoughts, comments, and I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands, keep your mind clear, watch out for another. Share it if you like it. Hit that membership. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay woke, stay free. I'm out. Peace.